Colin all cruisers, my name is Colin and welcome to the channel. I've got breaking news for you, hot off of the press from Carnival Press Centre, effective Tuesday, September 6th. Carnival have dropped vaccination requirements from their cruises. What's more, if you are vaccinated, you no longer need to provide proof of a negative test. Now, there are some exceptions that I'll take you through on this video, but before we do, it's rumoured that the other cruise lines are also planning to drop the vaccination requirements and testing requirements for vaccination guests on September 6th as well. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I've seen rumours, I've seen reports, I haven't seen anything official yet, so I'm keeping an eye out for you and I'll let you know if that changes. Alright, let's break down those changes then. So we'll start with vaccinated guests. So vaccinated guests no longer need to provide proof of a negative test prior to sailing. You do, however, still need to provide proof of vaccination to show that you're eligible to not take the test. So you'll continue to use the Verify app for Carnival. If you choose not to use the app, you can present your vaccination status at the terminal. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule. Canada, Bermuda, Greece and Australia are still requiring testing to be done for all passengers. The requirements of that test do differ slightly. So let's break them down. In Canada, you can take a PCR test 3 days before you're sailing, or you can do an antigen test up to 2 days before you're sailing. Bermuda, the PCR test can be taken 4 days before sailing with the antigen 2 days before sailing. Greece, you can take the PCR or antigen test 2 days before sailing. And in Australia, you can do the PCR test 3 days before sailing or a self-administered antigen test 1 day before sailing. Unvaccinated guests are now welcome to sail on all sailings except those sailing out of or visiting Australia and cruises 16 nights or longer. So if Australia or a long cruise was on your bucket list for this year and you're not yet vaccinated, I'm sorry, you will have to wait a little bit longer for that. Just to note that guests 5 and under are exempt from these requirements, and in Australia it's actually guests under 12. So if you are travelling with young children that are not vaccinated, but you are vaccinated, then you will still be able to sail on those sailings. There are some additional destination requirements, so these are outside of Carnival's control. These are set by the local authorities in those locations, and Carnival, along with all the other cruise lines, will have to adhere to that until further notice. There are no exceptions to this rule. Any guests aged 12 or over who are unvaccinated will not be permitted to sail on any cruises that visit Bermuda. Similarly, in Canada, guests 12 and over that are unvaccinated will not be permitted to sail on any cruises that stop in Canada. However, they do allow some exceptions. If you're medically exempt and you satisfy Canada's requirements for exemption, then you will be able to travel. If you do have a cruise to Bermuda or Canada booked, whether you're vaccinated or not, you have 21 days to confirm your vaccination status on Carnival's website or in the app. Failure to confirm your vaccination status will result in your cruise being cancelled. That's something that they have done on some itineraries in the past since the restart, and I've seen it in some forums and groups where that's happened to people. They didn't go in and confirm their vaccination status and their entire cruise got cancelled. So please just watch out for that. Be sure if you've got Canada or Bermuda on your itinerary that you do go in and confirm that as soon as possible. Don't wait. Don't risk your cruise being cancelled. If you already have a booking at this time, you've got until August 24th to do your attestation. So make sure you do that before then. That's not long. Go in, go do it now. Hit pause on this video. You can come back and hear the rest of it later. There are some other destinations that they don't put any rules around unvaccinated guests travelling on the cruise, but they do put some restrictions on whether unvaccinated guests will be permitted to disembark at certain ports of call. So let's take a look at these ports of call right now. For guests aged 18 and over who are unvaccinated, Cartagena, Grand Turk and Colombia, you will not be permitted to disembark the ship if your cruise stops at any of those locations. For unvaccinated guests aged 12 or over, you will not be permitted to disembark in Bermuda, Bonaire, Grand Cayman, St. Kitts or Tortola. If you already have a booking for the 6th of September or beyond and you're waiting for an exemption, assuming that you're not required to have an exemption based on those locations I've just shared with you, Carnival are saying that you now are exempt. You don't need to wait for your exemption letter. You will be allowed to sail on to those particular sailings. Keep an eye on Carnival's Have Fun, Be Safe page for more details. They will continue to update us as and when things change. Of course, this is an ever-changing, ever-evolving scenario that we're in. We did see it recently where Carnival dropped testing requirements and vaccination requirements and then had to backtrack on that just a couple of days later. So, it does depend on the industry as a whole. It does depend on the destinations, the local governments and local authorities. So please be patient with Carnival and the other cruise lines whilst they try to navigate this on your behalf. But for now, this is some great news for everybody, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, to feel like we're back to some normal cruising. With that being said, everybody, until next time, happy cruising.